Hello and welcome back to episode 74 of Plate Stack Chat. That's a lot of episodes. You've got me, Sam Laroche, and Jason at Jason's CF Media. You might hear more about Jason's
Yeah, might be a real thing for a change. The C stands for Croxon.
Croxon Family Media.
There
You're
we
gonna
go.
get the kids in. You're gonna get the kids in as well.
Yeah.
That's cool. When you will notice, if you're watching, you'll notice there's no Tom. I believe he's on holiday. It was his birthday, wasn't it?
It was kicked to the curb, is what I heard.
Well, or he was taken up by the Morning Chill Cup. Oh, starting rumours. Is it a rumour? Is it true?
That'd be a demotion for him, surely. From editor in chief and like whatever other CEO type titles we want to throw at him for Chalking Fitness to just being.
But now he's on the real media.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a media. It's funny. I mean, we'll talk about this probably another day about like what is media and all of that. And there's been all this discussion of media and what is media, and I think the word that they actually mean is like what is journalism, not what is media. And I was thinking about like the t-shirt I'm wearing now is the t-shirt from Sid, and on the back says media. And then I was like, oh, I've got like my British Teen and Masters Championships CrossFit licensed event t-shirt, and on the back of that t-shirt it says media. So, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with my handle saying Jason CF Media at this point, but I do think that the crazy kind of back and forth that have been going on the internet at the moment between different people, and they're like, "What's media? What's media?" Well, if you've got Instagram, it's social media, so technically you're making media. Is it journalism? No, maybe not. Like, let's step away and then see who claims to, you know, be what. But like the photographers at events are media.
Yeah, the MCs at events, technically media.
There you go.
So
that's not our topic for today.
No, it's not our topic for today. Our topic for today, well, to be honest, this is a pretty chilled one.
Good.
Because we've got no Tom.
But Tom,
because he's so highly strung. No, we thought, to be fair, we were asking around and we could have got some guests, or we could have got a guest, but then it's like, well, actually,
full disclosure as well. Like I told you, I don't even know until probably midday whether or not I'll be on today. So it was all very.
Did we get the question? Did we get good news?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was also. I've just been stressed for like 2 weeks, and
oh man.
And then it's all fun, and it's like, you know, it's one of those things where like you hype up in your head to be really bad, and I've been saying to Rochelle like all week, like I know in my head I'm making this into a much bigger thing than probably it's going to be, but like I am absolutely prepared for the worst, and that way nothing can kind of shake me. Like worst case scenario is this, and I'm ready for it. And then anyway, better to be super prepared even then if it's good, because we actually come out in a better position from that. So it hasn't been like a waste of my time, but I've been really stressed to the point that, you know, I've been like eating and being like, oh, I can feel I've got an ulcer there. Like that's not good. It's like when you start like physically kind of getting, it means I haven't had a chance to train all week. I've not been into the box since Friday of last week.
I bet that's like this is not a counselling session, so if it was, you'd be paying me. But I'm coming out quite loud on your monitor, I think. No, no, doesn't matter. But that's the thing for you. That's a big deal, isn't it? When you don't train, sort of everything just gets a bit. Oh, I think you've said that before. It's just kind of. When you're stressed, you don't train. When you don't train, you're more stressed. And then it's like one of them sort of cycles that spirals.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't even been about like, oh, I'm too stressed to train. It's that I've been using the time that I would need to train. I've been having to use. It's not detecting my headphones. It's good. I'll just turn it down here. The time I've been using to train. I've been having to use to prepare other things, basically. And actually, yes, so, and then on top of that, like, it's also been a nightmare at work. So it's just been these kind of two competing things, like which one can make me more miserable, and I've kind of come out of it. I've got a pretty ridiculous day tomorrow, but then like once that's done,
then you're free and breezy.
I'm back to normal.
Love it.
Well,
Well, brilliant. I'm really glad for you, mate. I'm glad that your news was good and it wasn't what you thought it might be, or what you hadn't prepared. It wasn't what you'd prepared yourself for, which is good. But that has CrossFit is a lifestyle, right? It's a methodology, but it is a lifestyle. People, people get pent up about all sorts of stuff. One of the things being CrossFit, specifically CrossFit Media.
Oh, we're jumping back onto that.
Oh, no, no, I'm not. I mean, we could tee up anything from there, but yeah, as we were saying earlier, this is quite chilled. I'm glad it's chilled, and yeah, it was a full disclosure from Jason. Everybody was going to be stuck with just me this evening.
Yeah, can you
talking
imagine
my opinions on things, which could have gone anywhere. No, I'm quite. I'm being quite. I could be quite vanilla at the moment. I can't. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I can't really announce why that is at this moment in time because it hasn't actually been announced yet. But yeah, I just don't want to cheese anyone off in the CrossFit world at this point. Not because I. I deeply feel that you shouldn't have to toe a certain line in order to do things, right? That I do genuinely feel that. But there's a difference between towing a line and just going out there to piss people off.
Yeah, I always think, this is a reference for you. I always think back to the movie Troy.
Okay.
Where is he going with this, you may ask?
I have that. I'm thinking that exact thing.
And it's Sean Bean's character, and basically they get that. I can't remember who the different people are now, but basically they get there, and like the reason is right for his brother's wife. That's why they've gone there, and so on. And then he gets killed like early on, and Sean Bean's character, I think it's not. I can't remember his name now. Isn't it? Is he a assistant? No, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he basically is like, well, they thought we came here for your brother's wife. He won't be needing her anymore. He's dead. And the king's like, oh, you're insulting my brother. How could you do that? And he's like, it's no insult to say that a dead man is dead. And I always go back to this of like, if you're just saying the truth and you're not going out there to deliberately rile someone up, you're just like, look, these are the facts. You can't get, it's like somebody fails their driving test and then someone says, oh, do you know what happened with so and so? You're like, yeah, they failed their driving test. Like, oh, I can't believe you go around telling people I failed, but you failed your driving. Like do you know what I mean? That's just, I mean, there are things that maybe someone asks you to keep confidential or secret, something like that. Right, fair enough. But in general, if it's just a fact, it's a fact, right? You can't be upset by that, or you can, but you shouldn't really be upset if people are just telling you the truth. And that's now I realize I've been, we make fun of Tom. He's not on the podcast at the moment. We can say what we want. We occasionally gently mock Tom for his position on the fence, right? Kind of, he doesn't want to, and I maybe too quickly jump to kind of one side or the other, and I'm kind of like, oh, I can't believe they did this, or I can't believe this and that. So now I'm in pursuit of the truth. That's my new objective. I just want to know why things happen. Like,
sounds like journalism.
Does sound a little bit like journalism. Yeah.
That was me teeing you up, buddy.
Yeah. So I think that's maybe, so obviously I'm not a journalist. I may have been looking into some courses recently, but I'm not a journalist. And I will never be like I'm not going to go to university and get a bachelor's in journalism or whatever, but
never say never, bro.
But I might look into, I'm intrigued by, I think in general, journalism, like as it's presented often now, isn't any longer the pursuit of truth, but is very much spinning a narrative. But I'm very intrigued by just asking the right questions to the right people, and hopefully then having answers to questions, or at least, even if you don't have answers, just having more context. And actually, we spoke about this all the way back when Eric Rosa stepped down as CEO, and it was like, we had these two extremes. You had people that were very pro modern CrossFit HQ home office, being like, no, look, read the press release. It was always part of the plan. That's what he said. It was always the plan. And actually, he's been promoted to a better position. And then you had other people on the other side. He's been fired. He got rid of Dave Castro. He's made this decision, that decision. And now people don't like him, and he's lost his job. And then saying this other job is just kind of it's just to help him save face. And when we spoke about this all the way back, when I was saying, well, hold on, there's questions, right? There's questions to ask. So like, it was always the plan, but it's been accelerated 6 months. Okay, why? Because you've done such a good job, because you've done a bad job. Like, there's two different reasons there.
Well, or because you've got other stuff on, right?
Ready to step in.
It might have been nothing to do with CrossFit.
Exactly.
It might have been, it goes back to,
kids, you could have said.
Yeah.
But that's it. So all you need is to ask the right people the right questions, and then you at least get some content. Now, you might still not be perfectly down the middle on this. You may lean one way or another, but you've got more context to be like, yeah, okay, it was always the plan for him to go to this other position, but he was facing a lot of kind of pressure from people because they weren't happy with some decisions he's made, so we accelerated it. All right, fair enough. So there's half truth there, that it was always the plan. It sort of maybe was kind of a promotion, but it was accelerated because there was actually some people not happy about things. So again, the truth is actually kind of a blurring of both sides, right? And yeah, I just think I just feel sometimes, and I think I'm guilty of this, we're very quick to jump to one side of the argument without necessarily having all the facts.
True.
We got to get the facts. That's the question.
We have got to get the facts. Well, there was a good friend. So we're obviously in a group chat, because group chats are life now in the 21st century. But Tom said we must talk about, and that kind of teases us up into the truth. So there was an email that came out from CrossFit today. Do you have said email, Jason? I think Google seems to be sending my emails to various places that are not my inbox, because I
I do actually. I can
I've the excerpt from the email, but I don't have the whole email.
Hold on, bear with me 2 seconds. I wasn't ready to run back office, but here.
No, that's all right. CrossFit. So CrossFit, just to give you a lowdown, CrossFit often send out emails. Here is said email. Do you want to read that out for us, Jace? Maybe.
Oh, so the email, that's the hopper. It mentioned a number of things, but the thing that we wanted to kind of focus in on was the semi-final competition liaisons. So basically saying, all right, okay, this season, CrossFit is providing an additional representative for all 10 live semi-final competitions around the world. This person will serve as a competition liaison, whose basic responsibilities include observing and ensuring the following competition standards are upheld. Pre-competition, okay, I can't be bothered with that. Basically, athlete briefings, making sure the athletes understand what they're doing and making sure everything is running on time. During the competition, movement standards are upheld by the judges and applied fairly across the field. The appeals process is available to athletes and conducted fairly. Basic safety is observed on the competition floor in the athlete warm-up area. The competition liaison will serve as a resource for the on-site competition team and will advocate for the best possible athlete experience. And then it's just sort of saying they're not like taking completely the lead. They're just kind of there to facilitate between the athlete and the competition team. I think it's particularly the first line on during the competition that maybe people will go, hold on, where it talks about making sure movement standards are upheld by the judges and applied fairly. Okay, I was just checking that. And I'll fill you in on why I was suddenly like a bit worried while I was reading that, but okay, that's all very good. Because I may have revealed who the liaison is, and he may have just liked the post and not shouted at me. So I'm pretty sure it's not secret. It was fine. We could tell everyone. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, so Jason, I'm happy we promote Chalking Fitness enough. Jason posted his first YouTube outing.
Yeah.
Video.
Well,
was it a vlog?
My
Is it
first
news?
YouTube video under the banner of Jason CF Media.
Oh, baby.
And I actually read through. Well, I didn't read through. I have this email up on screen the whole time. That's why it was so quick to hand.
I did know that, which is why yeah, everyone's getting all the background today.
Yeah. Actually, I can take that down now. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't skip that there. Let the people see what they really want to see. Our faces. Yeah. So that line about like judging the standard, to me, opens the door for speculation, right? And this is what I say in the video, is that like obviously people like Andrew Hiller been very vocal about video
I'll be honest,
submissions.
when I saw it, I thought he's probably got the job.
Yeah. Well, so
I'm being sort of semi-serious. So I'm sure you're going to reveal who does have the job.
Well, he wouldn't be able to be at all 10 semi-finals, would he?
No.
But
he wouldn't, because I don't think he'd be allowed into Canada. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
But and I've been thinking this about Hiller for a little while, right? What do you do? So I'm thinking, right, bear with this because it's a tenuous sort of example, but it is very applicable. So this happened to me a lot. I was always the naughty kid in the class, right, at school. So what does the teacher do with the naughty kid in the class at school? There are two options, right? Aren't there? Really, there are, or three options. Let the kid just carry on as they are, right? Just being naughty in the class. Probably not the best option because it's disruptive for everybody. Two, send the kid out of the class to go and be someone else's problem. Or three, give the kid a job within the class, which makes them feel important, included, and gives them something to do, which is not be disruptive, naughty, and annoying.
So what was your job?
Therefore, I was always kept in the class. Apart from by my English teacher, Mr. Quigley, who was a lovely Irish fella, but he'd send me out the class literally before I'd walked in the class. LaRoche, get out. So I'm not even in the class. Just go away.
Yeah, I'm not even in your class. Well, that's why I'm telling you to get out.
But that, there is some kind of method in that madness. If Hiller is cheesing that many people off, just give him a job.
Yeah.
But
like my point is this, is I don't think it's necessarily even that he's like, well, he is cheesing people off, isn't he? But it's like he's got this army of people now that are like, yeah, the standards need to be met. Like these videos aren't good. This isn't happening. What happened with
I think they're officially, are they officially called Robins?
They're Robins, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a Lucius Fox as well now, so I hear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, apparently so.
Oh, nice.
Which is funny.
Okay, other members of the Bat family are available.
Yeah. Mate, I don't want to be Alfred.
Yeah. Just serving him his tea.
Yeah.
So basically, my thought was when I read this, it was like, oh, now people are going to say this is how this is CrossFit's reaction, right? Hiller's like called them out on movement standards, so now they need to, appease the people and assure them that at these live events, the movement standards are going to be adhered to, right? This is kind of, am I crazy thinking this is what people are going to think? Do you know what I mean? Like, why have you said we've never had this before?
That's certainly news. That's certainly like.
That's like
if you were a Robin. Well, if you were a Robin, that's what you'd think, right? And this it goes back to the whole looking at it from different sides of where what angle you're coming at this from. So if you're a Robin, a Hiller fan, or you're a Hiller sympathizer. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? But if you're that way inclined, you would probably come at it from that angle. This is all because of him. It's all because of what he's done, what he said.
Or not necessarily him, but just the like the what happened with quarterfinals, like the mess of the shuttle runs, like all there's been a number of things that you could be like, oh, it's been a real mess, and this is CrossFit cleaning up their mess, like saying, look, here we're going to appoint this person, and that's going to kind of ensure this mess doesn't keep happening, like that could be a way of reasoning. And this is where, if Tom was here, he would say that silence, like them not saying, why they've done this or not really revealing much about it, is where speculation breathes, right? So
yeah,
we don't know why we've got this role. We don't know who's got this role. We don't know what's going on. So let's speculate. And we would have come on tonight, 8 o'clock, and just opened up and I probably would have said, hey, maybe this is just a response to Hiller, right? So I'm glad I've not said that, because I know for a fact that it's not.
No.
So,
but just before we get to, because this is the hook and tease. Do you like what we're doing there? You'll learn that in journalism. So yeah, well, it's more.
Hey, if you watch my YouTube video, you'll see that at one point I'm like, and I'm gonna need your help, but I'll let you know about that later.
Yeah, exactly, mate. It's all it's broadcasting. That's what it is. The hook and tease, all about that. I can't remember where I was going now. We're talking about before we get there, that's a standard business model anyhow.
Yeah.
If you are, so essentially what CrossFit have done is franchise their competitions, right? So they're not affiliates, because affiliation is something very different, and affiliates are not checked up on in the same way. But essentially what the semi-finals are is a franchise, right?
It's part of the season. It makes sense. Yeah. Like, if you can't seed people into a competition and not have any control over that seeding process. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say, well, we are taking the people that win this competition and they are going to the arguably, the pinnacle of the sport, the CrossFit Games, we've got to make sure like we have some control. We need to be able to basically come in and say, no, that person shouldn't be going because look.
Well, and also other companies do that.
Oh, of course.
Like if you went into, I don't know, if you went into a Costa Coffee, they have checks. So there are standards that a Costa Coffee would have to meet, or a McDonald's, or a, any chain business, any franchised business. If you're using the name of the company, you must do the certain things that the company does. That's an absolutely valid role within the company, and there must have been. Well, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but there will have been a plan. There will always have been a plan to have someone do that role.
But like across the board, this is happening, and this is where I go back to even my kind of feeling is sometimes that we talk a lot about media, and maybe journalism is another thing, and and it's just sort of like, obviously there are different people that put out news about CrossFit. They have different relationship with CrossFit, exclusivity within CrossFit. Granting them access to certain things is going to mean that they're going to be, careful maybe with what they put out at times. If it comes direct from CrossFit, if Amazon released a press release saying how happy all their employees were, you'd say, well, hold on, of course you're going to say that. What do other people say? And then you get people going and investigating and asking the employees and asking, the factory next door that can see over into the Amazon warehouse, and like, how do the people look when you see them going in and out? Do you know what I mean? You compile information from other sources, and then you kind of have a hold on a second, and I think that's sometimes what it can be lacking a little bit. In this case, and it makes sense and we expect that of everything else, and yet when someone does it with CrossFit, we're a bit like, well, hold on, CrossFit said this. And you're like, yeah, okay, maybe it's true. We're just checking. Like,
CrossFit are likely to say that, aren't they?
Yeah. CrossFit said they're the best. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Of course they did. But like, maybe they are, but let's just go and check. Like, that's my point. I'm not, I don't want to go out to disprove anything. What I want to do is find context and insight and just additional information so you can have a more informed opinion. Or so if somebody says, well, no, I heard this, you can maybe even counter that and say, well, hold on, I don't know where you heard that, because actually I've heard this, this, and this, and therefore I think, this is correct. I wanted to know, well, I didn't really care who all 10 of these people were. I wanted to know who was going to be the CrossFit liaison for Strength in Depth, the competition we are going to be at. So the kind of one I would care about. And I know who it is. I found out. So I was really happy.
This is where the tease is coming in.
Right. But before I get to that, the other question I had, because finding out who it was is like nice.
Yeah.
it doesn't answer the question of whether or not this is reactionary. Right. So the other thing I wanted to know is, like, who qualifies for this job, and when was this job like put in place? When did we decide we were going to want this to kind of, you know, be something? So I reached out to the only man that I thought would have the answers to these questions. Any guesses who might know?
Santa Claus. No, yeah, I guess you asked Ollie, right?
I went higher up the food chain
than Ollie. Oh, Boz.
I went to Boz. Yeah,
you went to Boz. Wow.
Yep. So I asked Bosman those two things, basically, and I actually got a reply. So I was really happy with that. And he was saying that yeah, they need to be like level 1 seminar staff that have got experience at like big competitions, things like that. So you start to understand a bit the pool of people that we're taking from. And the other thing was that apparently this was a role that was put in place from the beginning of the season. It was always planned to have these liaison. So we've not heard about it till now, but apparently from day one, this was something they were planning to do. Now, I have no reason to doubt.
So this is collective journalism now. So I also asked another couple of sources who I won't name, but I did actually ask them, and they I won't name them, but I'll give you their credentials. They may be on the teams that manage some of the competitions, some of the semi-finals. So they said, I messaged a couple, and one came back and said, I was waiting for this, which then obviously tells me that they haven't just decided that today.
Yeah.
And it must have, these competitions must have known that for however long. Now, this person may also have been the liaison for the process. So not just on the day, they may have been they will have been the liaison for the process as well. So the point of call, because workouts, for example, we know that the other 4 workouts were programmed, sent to CrossFit, okayed, sent back, or changed, sent back. Now that liaison may very well have been the person who took them to and from.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So that for a while, it corroborates what you're saying. It obviously has been in place for a while.
And so it's just funny because Tom's watched the video that I put up, by the way, and he's just asked a question. So Tom, if you're listening, which maybe you are, maybe you aren't, he says he hopes that all the sources knew that I was going to name them, because I did. I named all my sources, but I was asking questions like, is this a secret? You know, is this a secret? No, it's not a secret. Okay, like, it's not a secret. And actually, I put it across the whole time of me saying, because I want to talk about this, and I want the truth. I want to do it. I've kind of jokingly put it across of kind of, I actually want to do a bit of work and try and, not just speculate, but have some information, have some facts. So I knew. So I had my answer from Boz about that. In the meantime, because this was all happening, I sent a message to Boz. I didn't imagine I'd get a reply necessarily, but thank you. And so in the same time, I spoke to one of the same people that you had spoken to, who gave me nothing. Well, basically, I sent a message to someone saying, "Why won't you tell Sam who it is? But I have another question for you. Maybe you can answer this." And my question was, again, like, how long have you known? That was sort of my question to them. And I didn't get a reply. And if you're listening, you know who you are. And I'm outraged. No, I got a reply.
I sent enough gifts. I sent enough gifts to that person that they know that, all about spilling beans.
Well, I did get a reply of like, "Oh, ask. I might not be able to answer." And then nothing after I asked. And then I sent them a message saying, so it is laughing face kind of thing. Nothing back to that either.
No, but but they didn't know that if it was a secret or
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
That's why they couldn't. Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll watch my YouTube video. That would be nice. And actually, like, ultimately as well, because this is another point, is it really doesn't matter at Sid.
It doesn't matter
because Sid have about 20 people there that would qualify for the job. So it's like
most of the judges, I think, that would be at Sid would qualify for that job.
I do think if you are like this is your first semi-final event, like first time hosting one, I think if I was a competitor going there, it would be reassuring to know that there is, CrossFitter there making sure kind of there's no funny business. Like, I think that's good. So I get that Sid is like, it's got a very dense field of workers that, have a lot of experience and work for CrossFit and things like that. Maybe not every competition, has that. So I get it. But I reached out to Ollie, obviously. Why wouldn't I?
No.
And I asked similar questions, and I kind of asked who it was, and from him I got the impression that it wasn't a secret at all. I did say, like, is it a secret? Because I was like, who's liaison? He's like, oh, liaison is so and so. I was like, okay, but is that a secret or something? I was like, no, and it's this one for the Lowlands. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. And so Ollie gave me a name, but I wasn't ready yet to. So when I said I think we were talking about it, and you said like, oh, who? I said I think I know who it is, but I want to like confirm it. And you were kind of like, oh, who do you? Are you guessing someone it is? I was like, oh, I'm not guessing. This is journalism. I'd already had the name at that point, but I wanted that person to confirm it.
Okay.
So I sent them a message with a screenshot of the email that we put up on the screen saying, I heard you've got this job. Is that correct?
from two of the highest people in CrossFit. Yeah. I guess you didn't put that, but
no.
And Ollie told me that you'd got the job.
And they replied, yeah. So I was like, okay, great. And there was a little bit of back and forth. Anyway, it's like when you think about it for more than 10 seconds, you're like, oh yeah, of course. That makes perfect sense.
I've been thinking about it for at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
If not longer. But I haven't put my finger on who. There are a couple of ideas that I've got, but no one like.
Any names you want to throw out there?
No.
Has experience with large events, as a like seminar staff.
Man, I'm dying here. Come on.
Like overqualified for this role. Super overqualified for this role.
Do they have another role? Oh, this is such a good game. I love guessing games. Do they have another role already within
CrossFit? Definitely. Not at Sid.
No.
But within CrossFit, and maybe not making them travel too far could be nice.
I'm not got it. The only name I'm coming up with is Stedders, but it's probably not. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well then yes, I didn't have to think very much about that, did I? I was literally like, oh, it can't. No, can't be.
This is why Ollie was like it's Carl. It was just kind of like so nonchalant about it. Like, well, it's Carl, isn't it? I was like, oh. Right, okay, yeah, of course. And so I sent him the message. He was like, yeah. And actually, I put up the video and I tagged him in it. And then when we started, and I was a bit nervous, I was like, oh, what's that? It's because, when you just see like a notification that somebody's like done something on your, like they've
slating
seen it.
You.
So, and there was like at least two, it was like twice his thing. So it couldn't just be that he liked it. It has to be like either a response or something. And I was just like, oh dear.
Does that mean he's still the king of the UK?
He's still the king of the UK.
Yeah. Because they posted a little thing earlier. In fact, it wasn't. It was Rachel that posted a little thing earlier. Zach had sent them.
He was simply like sharing the story that I put up about it. So I was like, oh, okay, that's that's good, right? That means he's not angry.
Does that mean you broke a story? That's like breaking news?
Well, I don't know if it is though, because it seems like lots of people just knew
Well,
it.
I haven't.
And
Well,
like yeah, we didn't.
maybe it wasn't newsworthy enough. It can't not have been newsworthy enough.
Well, maybe because again, that's where context and intent and all of these things come in. Because sometimes you just don't tell someone something because it just seems it's like, well, everybody knows. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's like maybe you're from a certain town and you go to like a group of people and you're chatting with all these people and you don't mention to anyone that you're from this like very small town, but it just so happens that like another person is from that town. And for them, they're like, I can't believe you wouldn't have said that. Like, that's so incredible. And you're like, well, to me, it wasn't like that was just okay. Yeah, I'm from there, but I didn't really think about how other
Well,
people
now
would do it.
this
And I
makes
think if you're
all.
already in CrossFit and you already
Yeah.
know all of this stuff and you've known about it for ages, just saying, oh, by the way, at all the semifinals, there's going to be this thing. You're not necessarily thinking, well, what are people outside who just get the tail end of the news thinking, or how are they going to react? Or like they really want to know. Because actually, I wonder how many people could not care less about what this
No, but
job
I think more people, especially at the moment,
yeah,
care way more about that particular role, and for athletes as well. Because that was what I was thinking. You know, because actually, there are a lot of newer athletes that are in the fields at the moment that have maybe not been to a semi-final before.
Yeah.
And to have someone, it's almost like a union rep. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like the CrossFit union rep. Like, if you have a problem at the competition, rather than going to someone who has a vested interest in the competition, because no one likes to hear, you know, if I'm running something, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear bad feedback because might not take that very well. But someone who is outside of the competition organization is an objective voice in the matter, I guess, and can then see it objectively and act on it appropriately, rather than you come to event organizer. They want to put on a good event, so they want everyone to be sort of happy. They need to provide good standard event. Is it going to cheese off everybody else? You know, it's a good for the athlete. It's a good thing because it's a buffer between them and the competition, and for the competition, it's a good thing because it's a buffer between the competition and the athlete. It's like a really pivotal role, and mate, I think Carl's going to be banging at that role. What a legend!
You were going to say you thought you'd get that role. Like, I could do that.
Not sure I'm getting that one.
Yeah,
I am L1, but I'm not a seminar staff. So.
The other the other thing I asked about, and I'd really like to know, and I'm not connected to the people that you need to be connected to get this information, is like what's going on with Whoop, because yeah, like them kind of stepping away from CrossFit, but then still sponsoring Sid, and obviously that was all put in place like ages ago, but it seems it's still weird, right? It's like it's like they broke up and then it's like, oh, but I did promise I'd go with you to this wedding, so we've turned up together kind of thing. It seems really
it is so well. I don't know though, because it's no different though to I don't know all the official sponsors of Sid this year, but I know that Porsche, for example, were a sponsor last year. Well, they've been a sponsor for the last.
There was like they signed like a multi
the off season, but the sanctional was sponsored by Porsche. Now they are not. They're not they're not a CrossFit sponsor, but they were a sponsor. So I guess if just because it's more awkward because they were a CrossFit sponsor, potentially, and are now potentially not.
Yeah, but I think it's because
there's not been no news though, has there?
Well, that's that's it, and that's where
again that filling that void.
I did reach out, I did ask, and actually was told, yeah, we don't know. Like they just kind of walked away from CrossFit, and actually maybe we thought they were going to walk away from other things, and like I feel like on that one decisions are being made way higher up that like people just don't know, and I think unless you can speak to somebody who's like high up at Whoop, you're not going to find out. And I did kind of put a call out in the video. I would really, like, I'll be honest, I was not planning to make a video today. I'd been toying with the concept for a while. And then this was just something that I was like, oh, I could do this. I think I even know the people to speak to. Like I can action this one, and I want to do it while it's still like relevant, you know, while it's fresh. So I've made a video. Please don't judge me for the quality. As well, my voice today is like it's really strange.
It's the stress. It's the stress.
It's the stress. Yeah. But in the video, and as I was saying, if people could watch it and like it and share it and stuff, because I would really like this. It's only 10 minutes. It's not like an hour of plate stack chat, right? It's short. you can make 10 minutes. Come on, if people could share it around. But I do kind of put the call out of like, I'd really like to do this. I'd like to ask the people the questions. I'd like to get more information, but I don't always know what news people care about, like, or what's giving them, like, what are you skeptical about? Like, what are CrossFit saying that you're going, not sure about that? Or also, like, maybe you know the people to ask, but you know, you just don't feel you can't approach them and ask. So I kind of am like, look, if you know people that knows things, let me know and I can ask. Or if there's something that you're like, this just doesn't sit quite right with me, let me know, and then I can try and make a video on that. Like but I basically, the video is just me, and it's kind of what we've done now. I was just like, this is the news that's come out. I kind of explained the concept as well at the beginning a bit, like, you know, but it was just sort of me walking you through what I did of this is the news, this is what we knew, the fact, and here I am explaining the doubts I had or the questions I wondered about, and then who did I go to, how did I, you know, what did I ask, what, and then my conclusion is kind of, okay, this is where I'm sat with now, you know, and I'm kind of happy with what I know. And I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that a lot more. But I just need help to do it, really. I just need people to kind of...
You're like a non-egregious Hiller.
I think it's different, though.
I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious.
I think Hiller is like, it's people going like, look, this is the thing. And what I want is more just being like, if I'm working all day and stuff, I miss... Like, actually, when Tom said, like, don't forget to mention this, I had no idea what he was talking about. I hadn't seen it. So I had to kind of check my emails and be like, oh, I probably have got an email from CrossFit. Let me see what it is. And because I don't always read. I'll be honest. It's like the Chalky Fitness.
Well, now
don't always read.
I do actually always read the Chalky Fitness newsletter. So
the one that gets me is the Morning Chalk Up one that I'm still subscribed to for whatever reason. But like, as stressed as I was it Monday?
Oh, I was wetting my pants when you posted that. Did you screenshot it or anything? I didn't screenshot it, so I won't be able to see it again.
Oh, I think I could probably get it up on my thing. Hold on.
I was wetting my pants when I saw it.
Yeah, it was just oh, let me see if I can
we'll find it. We'll find it.
If I can open it up. There we are. Oh no, I can't access it through my computer. Anyway, basically it was just such a stupid thing, right? Like, so if you don't know what we're talking about, serves you right for not following me. But if you do know, on Monday,
honestly rolling on the floor laughing.
An email went out on for like Morning Chalk Up email, and it was like, oh, Ricky Garrard wants to get back on the podium. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Like,
well, I can't remember what you put. It was like, in other news, bears poo in the woods or something.
No, it was I had like I had a picture from Anchorman of Ron Burgundy. It was like in other news, water still wet.
That was it. Honestly, man, I was rolling on the floor laughing for that one.
And that was like Monday. I was just so stressed. I was like trying to deal with all of these things. I was like, literally, we'd booked Emily in for an extra day of nursery. Rochelle had taken the day off work. We were working. We were getting through stuff. We were organizing things. And yet I broke to do this stupid thing because I just could not believe that this was like the lead, because it was in the article, but this was the lead thing on the the title of the email.
In other news,
slow news
water
day.
still wet.
Yeah, but I was just looking at what had come out today, morning chalk up wise.
Not an awful lot, to be honest.
Interview Pat Sherwood about balance in life. Because I get the Bathory Bros hanging out with for Bjornsson.
Yeah, they've all got.
Scott Planchek retired yet still in the CrossFit Games hunt. Well, yeah. So
he'll come top 5. They're at the syndicate, aren't they?
Yeah.
He'll come top 5 in the syndicate. Is he going to turn down his games place? Probably not.
Why? Why would you? I mean,
well, exactly. But how could you say you're retired and then go to another games?
Yeah, but like, I think he's retired in the sense that he doesn't. I'd like to speak to him, Scott. Let's sit down, you and I. Let's discuss this together. But from the way I understand it, he's retired and he doesn't train like a games athlete anymore, or he doesn't train in the way he used to train when he was a full-time kind of pursuing the games. And actually, what he's found is that his body responds really well to a bit more rest, which is no surprise because he's been in the game a while. And so he is, he's an incredibly fit individual. He's got a lot of experience in CrossFit events and CrossFit style workouts, and he's doing really well. So if he's not having to go out of his way to do any more, and he manages to qualify, why would he not go? I mean, it would even be different if he lived in the UK and he's like, oh, but I've got to get to America. I've got to sort this out. But he's already there. Like it's a no-brainer that he would be, I would imagine he would be at the CrossFit Games whether or not he qualified. I mean, probably at least one, if not both of his brothers would be there. So you would imagine that he would be there anyway. He's probably got still sponsorship deals, people that would be like, hey, go and, we'll pay you to go and be there. So, like, he's probably going to be there.
Just
if he can be there on the competition floor, why not? I like Scott. I think it's good. It would be good to see him there. And maybe he thinks, this. I guess it's kind of one of the things where, like, I don't think he'd turn it down because he's surely got to think probably this would be my last year. Like, if I did make it this year, and I said I'd retired, but like next year, there's just more and more really good people coming through, and who knows?
Yeah. But there's a bit of an aside to be had here, and I'm
all right.
Well, no, I'm not. I find I don't want to lose. They're not my friends anyway. Like, not because they're not my friends, but they don't have. I haven't had the opportunity to make them my friends. But the morning chalk up, and I love what they're. I love what they're doing. They are the media. Like, realistically, there is nothing else at the moment. They're the journalists, if you will, within the space, and they are. No, that's not even true, is it? Because they are a platform. The morning chalk up is just is a platform, right? It's no different to, I don't know, Global, for example. Global in the UK, you have like ITV, LBC, like loads of platforms, and they have individuals come and do their thing, and they have newspapers and they have media and blah blah blah, or Sky or whatever. They have individuals that come and they write and they do stuff for them, which is great. But again, it goes back to that like the slanted sort of aspect to it. And to their credit, they do have criticisms, and they do raise criticisms, and they generally rely on fact.
Yeah.
But and it's not their fault, but I find there's an air of arrogance about it. And it's genuinely not their fault, and I don't think they are. I've only met Justin. I've only met Justin.
Yeah. Well,
and Chase, but Chase doesn't do an awful lot there. But anyway.
Brian Friend writes articles for them,
Brian
goes on their podcast, things like that. But I mean, I keep thinking back. I need to go and listen back to it. So if you're kind of newer to Plate Stack Chat, we did have Justin LaFranco on from the airport a for an episode once, talking about media and news and CrossFit and things like that. And I keep coming back to two things he said, but I need to re-listen because again, I don't want to be quoting something that I'm misremembering. But one of the things he definitely said was like, for him, it would be better if there were like 5 morning chalk ups.
Yeah.
You know, so there's part of me that's like, right, I agree with that, and you know, and like I don't want to be morning chalk up. I don't want to take them on, kind of thing. But a story here and there, I would like the idea that you would at least have to think, you know what, we better just double check our facts, or we better just add a little bit more context here, because if we don't, maybe somebody else has done that. Like, you know, instead of our article, or someone might call us out and say like, oh, you wrote this article, but actually I went over and watched this video and they'd spoken to these other 3 people and they had this to say, kind of thing, right? And that was it. It's like the more you have, it forces you to be better, because people now have choice and they can choose to go from one place to another. I don't know if you can hear what's going on outside my door.
I assume you're not in charge of the kids this evening.
No, I was up until like 10 minutes before we came on here.
Oh, cool.
So that was one thing. But the other thing he's mentioned, and this is where I'm like, I should really go back and check what he said here. But it was like the relationships you form with people, right? And he said something about kind of like, maybe like we've got some news, but they don't want us to release that, because and they'll give us something else. And at that point is where you start to go, well, hold on a second. Like, and you know, and maybe the news is nothing. Like, it's just, maybe it was this news. Like, they were like, oh, we know that you're going to have these liaisons. And they're like, yeah, but we've already like prepped an email. We've got it all planned out. It's all set to go live. Look, can you just hold on? In 2 days, it will be out and you can do a follow-up piece or something. But look, if you do that for us, we'll make sure down the line, we'll chuck you something kind of, you know, that you can share. Okay, fair enough. But it worries me. Like, I get protecting relationships. I get like, you've told me this off the record. This is confidential, but you're letting me know just so I can maybe like sniff around and see if I could discover it myself another way. Like, okay, fair enough. Like, that's the news, right? But it does worry me when if you're saying like, oh, but you know, it's a very much like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of relationship, because then it's difficult to trust, right? Like, how do I know what you're saying is really what's happening? Because I also know that, like, you know, if I scroll down the page, I see a big sponsorship from that company. It's like quite difficult to imagine that they're going to let it fly, that you also, you know, threw them under the bus, kind of thing.
Well,
so
but it is interesting though. So they, you know, because it was the conversation, and again, this is a third hand, because I think so. I did watch the video. I'm not a huge fan of Hiller either. Like, I've never met him, so I don't know him personally. But he doesn't always go out of his way to cheese people off. Putting clickbaity titles will make people watch your videos. He's openly said that. That's what he wants. I want people to come in here and watch my videos. That's why I put clickbaity titles. Fine. He's not. He doesn't lie about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's very open and honest about that. But I was watching the video where I think the Morning Chalk Up must have released a separate Patreon video.
Oh, that was
that they were where they were talking about media and other media, and not necessarily naming names, which I guess is to do with libel rather than you know, because actually if you or
it's strange because they did name other names. Like, they mentioned Savan by name a couple of times in that same, on that video, not in the bits that even in some of the bits that I think that Hiller highlighted. You know, that's been a very interesting conversation to watch.
Yeah, but that obviously there's that kind of relationship between two forms of what we're calling, I guess, what is journalism and what is media, because I think Hiller's not going to call himself a journalist. That's not. I wouldn't. I
don't think that's the role, like that. And I mean, and that's it. He is media.
He is media, but he's not journalistic media.
No, he's a a different form of media, but he's absolutely media.
But I was watching another Morning Chalk Up video, and they're doing a thing with Whoop at the moment. Their recovery stuff.
Yeah.
So they're having like basically a sleeping contest. Is
Mm.
basically what the gist of what I got with the Buttery Bros
Yeah.
and a couple of others. But that's like again, and it's. I don't think they're.
Well,
I
that's
imagine they're
interesting, isn't
not
it? We're all
particularly arrogant
wondering what
people.
is going on with Whoop. What's happening with Whoop?
Yeah.
What is the relationship of Whoop and CrossFit? Who might, CrossFit aren't saying anything. Okay, let's go to the independent media that talks about CrossFit. Surely they'll know something. But the independent media are doing a competition with
Sponsored by
Whoop.
Whoop.
So, what do they know? What can they say? What,
Yeah,
oh, we're going to say this. Well, if you say that, we're going to cancel the competition. Like, yes, it's tricky, which is why me being so small time and nobody wants to deal with me means at the moment I'm free to say anything.
Yeah, and I think there is some freedom in that, but also it goes back to sort of being a safe pair of hands, right?
Yeah,
People generally know you have integrity, right? I know that you have integrity, and you wouldn't burn a source, for example.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. There are rules of journalism and lines you don't cross, right? J-Lo was saying that. It's not.
Then it must be true.
It must be true. But again, it goes back to I was talking to somebody this weekend. I was with them this weekend, and they run a competition, and it kind of all gets, and they were sort of saying, oh, but all of these other competitions are coming up, and it's like, well, but just be better.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, quit, or go and do better and be better than someone else, and they'll come to your competition. Like, they're your options.
Yeah.
If there's not room for all of them, then some are gonna rise and some are gonna fall.
And then the people will decide, right? It's like you can say like, oh, you can't be a competition anymore because people might want to go to you instead of me. Like, well, then make it that they don't make it that they don't want to go.
Or have a unique angle on the
Yeah.
competition. But then someone comes along and copies your unique angle.
Yeah.
Which they're entitled to do.
And does it with sparkles, and then it's like, oh, even better than my unique angle.
Yeah, exactly. So they've lifted the competition, which only it's only better for the user, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with media. If someone came along, I would love to come along with loads of money and go, we're going to pay all these journalists to do this job. And, if you said, right, well, I'm going to get the marketing manager or the media manager from Whoop, and I'll pay the media manager from this player, and I'll pay the media manager from this person. They all come, they all bring with them, which is the nature of the morning chalk up, right? They all used to work for CrossFit.
Yeah, they've got,
and they got sacked, and
and then ultimately it is very much a who you know at the moment within CrossFit, isn't it? And so you need to have access to the right people. I mean, I was actually really happy because I the only access I had to Bosman was through Instagram, because we'd spoken before when we got him on the podcast. So I sent him a message and he replied. But in the reply, he said, look, I don't usually check my DMs. Next time, these are the email addresses you need to send stuff to. So now I have a couple of email addresses that I can use next time I've got questions about something. And, I'm kind of hoping that
link to those in bio. No,
yeah, link to the bio if you want all those private emails. So that was like, great. Maybe it doesn't take as much as I think to get a little bit of access. And then maybe once you get a little bit, you can get a little bit more. I don't know. As I said,
because maybe Boz will say, because then, people talk to each other, right? So Boz goes, do you know what? Jason was really, really showed good integrity when he was covering this thing.
Well, the way I put it across was basically, as I just want to know what's going on, because I don't want speculation. I want just to know, like, I've got a couple of questions, and if you could just answer these for me, it will really, like, there'll still be a degree of speculation, but it will narrow it dramatically for me. Was I clickbaity in my title? Not
clickbaity enough.
Clickbaity, because I do address the point of, is it like the Hiller effect that people are responding, or was it always part of the plan? That's what I said. And then I have a nice blurred out picture of the of the liaison. Yeah, it's a great title, right? CrossFit liaison. Wow. If he doesn't wear a tux, then
competition liaison, actually, young man.
Oh, is it not? Is it not CrossFit semi-final? It's got like it's a long one in title.
Semi-final competition liaison, I believe, is what it is.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And it's plural, so Carl is obviously not the only one.
Oh no, well, there's one per comp.
Yeah,
there's one at every. So I think mine I say meet the Sid. CrossFit liaison. Yeah. So whatever.
Is there another one at Lowlands then, or is it Carl?
Yeah, there is.
You know who that is, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I think so. Is Lowlands?
Lowlands is this weekend.
This weekend, yeah.
True.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to break that one. Just because that I haven't spoken to him. No. I spoke to Carl. I haven't spoken to. I don't want this guy to be like, oh, you know, I don't even know. I don't know him. Like I didn't actually. It's the first time I've really spoken to Carl, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not talking fitness. I don't have that access. I think the last time I saw him, or even we spoke to him, I was just complaining because you were like lying on the floor doing some stretches with his kids because it was after Sid.
Yeah.
Origins.
You're such a
and we were like
bag.
getting ready to record the podcast, and you're like starting to do all these stretches to loosen up your back and stuff.
Mate, I was hanging out with the prince and princess of UK CrossFit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Happy
birthday to the princess.
All right. Anything else, or are we wrapping up here? I mean,
we can go for. I mean, I put in the title that we can go for predictions if you want. We could just chuck out a couple of predictions for the comps this weekend if you fancy it. I mean, Justin Medeiros is probably going to win.
I don't even know. I'm amazed I managed to make a video on this other thing because I have no clue what's going on in CrossFit at the moment. This week, as I told you, not only did I not train, I didn't really watch it. I kind of checked out for the week. If you've got a prediction, I'll happily humor it.
Well, I've got top 5.
Yeah, give me your top 5.
So for Lowlands, top 5: BKG.
Yep.
Sam Stewart, which is an outsider.
But you like to include
I do like an outsider, and he's my boy. He is actually my boy. He's not like a Zach Watts, my boy. Like we've chatted on Instagram. Like I actually met in person, gave him a hug,
right?
High-fived his other half. She's a legend too. Adrian Monweiler, and I was querying Lazar Djukic, but there, I think is that 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think Lazar will probably do quite well. Yeah. It seems like. I mean, I haven't really seen who's there, to be honest. I'm very, what media am I? Very poor.
No, the one who I think might potentially is Fabian Benito.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on him. He was in my fantasy league last time round.
So I've not done any of that this time.
No.
It's almost like I've been super busy and distracted. Okay.
That's male. Female. I've just clicked on the wrong page. What am I doing? I've had it all here. Don't know. Females. I'm hoping Sarah Sigmundsdottir makes it. I don't know. I don't know her. I'm not totally in touch with her form at the moment. Gabby Magala probably will win. Lucy Campbell.
Yeah.
I hope. Love. If she'd make it. Laura Hovarth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a really interesting conversation with Tyler I had the other day, Tyler, about the fact that the leaderboard doesn't look like it because of the way that quarterfinals are run. You might not have. I think it was on the podcast as well. I think it was a follow-up conversation from when he was on the pod because Sam Briggs finished 67th. She's not going to finish 30th in the semi.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always that thing, isn't it? It's always the whole like online competition, and then doing things in person and doing enough to get to the next stage isn't the same as needing to win a semi-final, and it's, you know, there's so many other factors to consider, isn't there? Okay. Well, yeah, they're good. I don't know. Sarah, like coming out of Dubai, you'd have been like, yeah, she'll definitely make it. Then she had like a really terrible, you know, showing what a palooza, like having to withdraw because of, you know, the injury flare up kind of thing. So I don't know how she is now. If she's in, you know, in fighting form, why not?
If she's in fighting form, she could win. She could win the games. If she's on top, if she peaks at the right time, she could win the games.
Okay, right.
Is my feeling. Syndicate.
Okay, yeah. Run through quickly.
Justin Medeiros, Scott Panchik, Will Morad, Jason Hopper, and either Ben Smith or Alex Smith. There are others in there.
Yeah,
that could make it, but they would be my 5.
I think Alex Smith seems more determined than ever this year, so
yeah,
I reckon he'll pit Ben to that 5th spot if it's available.
Women's Ariel Lowen, Christy Arama O'Connell, Hayley Adams, and I didn't get another 2 because it's after that it's so wide.
Right. Okay. Well, better news for them.
Although Alexis Raptis finished 1st, and she didn't make it, but I don't know an awful lot about her.
No.
And is it the Taurian? The Taurian is the last one, but
the Taurian is like, of all of them, that's the, you know, you've got like 10 people that could take 3 spots.
Yeah. I'm hoping Royce does, because Royce.
Yeah, I mean, he did last time, didn't he? He did really well at Taurian, and then, you know, that was kind of he wasn't sort of the favorite to go through, and then he did well at the games as well.
No. Ricky, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the women's side is probably the easiest one to do because you've got Tia, Cara. Who did you put in for 3rd?
I've got Jamie, but
yeah,
she didn't. She came 6th overall in the quarters.
No, but I think
she's up there. Ellie Turner's new. She's not. She's young, right? Or did she come from somewhere else? She's not been to the games before.
She did really well at was Wodapalooza, wasn't it? She did really well at. She did really well at Wodapalooza. Then I think she's training with Michelle Latron. I can't say it.
I know who you mean.
I started to do it, and then I realized how sore my throat was, and I'm like, oh, I can't get the letters from the back of my throat. So, wellness coach. And I think she's been doing really well, but that's just such an intense field. It's so tight to try and get and you know, especially as kind of one of them is pretty much guaranteed for Tia, so it's 2nd and 3rd, isn't it? And then on the men's side, who are the other 2 are you taking? Well, Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky, Royce, Jay, Crouch.
Yeah,
and then after that, again, it's pretty open. I feel like maybe John Champion, just because in his name, he's a champion.
He's a champion. Yeah,
he's a champion. But yeah, I think, to be honest, beyond the top 3 of each competition, I'm not sure it's going to matter, because I don't think anyone's coming 4th or 5th unless it's a really stacked field and then coming top 10.
Well, I mean, I apologize to anyone listening that was hoping for some real insights, because as I said earlier, I've just kind of been checked out this week, and I wasn't even sure which 3 events were happening. I knew it was Taurian actually, but and I did know it was Syndicate and Loaded. No, I knew. Okay, I did now. Like, if I stop for more than 10 seconds and think, I did know all 3 events. I just wasn't 100% sure who was going to what. But although again, if I'd stopped for 20 seconds, I'd have been like, well, it's the Australian one, isn't it? So I do know kind of who the big.
Although I have one last
Lowland,
question.
So I do know who basically didn't come to Sid, and then it was probably Syndicate was just the one where I'm like, oh, I can't remember exactly who got sent there. So
I can't remember which Americans are going to be there.
Yeah, so that is just a little insight into, like, there you go. I didn't have 20 seconds to stop and think this week. That's
last question for you. This requires no thinking, previous thinking. James Newbury, in or out? games. Do you think he'll hit? Do you think he'll hit top 5? Do you think he might have to
Well,
make
it's
last
not
chance
top 5, is
qualifier?
it? That's the problem. It's top 3.
Is it? I thought it was top 5. Or is
No,
it
not
top?
for Torian.
Oh, of course it's not. Oh,
So that's why it's so tough. Like maybe like in or out. Yeah, I don't know. He's get top 3. Like that's.
ooh, okay. No, you are right. So yeah. Oh no,
No, the Oceania like
they're all 3, aren't they?
one is one of the absolute toughest fields to qualify from, and you know, and Brian Friend has a lot to say about that, backed by stats.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
All
we
right.
go. Well, that was about.
That's all I've got for you guys.
Yeah, that was a bit of an emotional one today, wasn't it? We got a bit of Jason, a bit of bit of journalism.
Sharing my hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I really need
I'll
to think
back
of
you.
a better journalist, because the only person I can keep thinking of, like, oh, I want to be Lois Lane. It's the only one that keeps coming to me.
That's all you've got.
I'm like, yeah, like really, like who's like a cool journalist?
Peter Parker,
He's a photographer, doesn't he? I'm
technically a
not.
journalist.
We go back to the media discussion here, aren't we?
Good journalist. There you go. There in the comments. In our comments, I want you to write the best, your favorite journalist, or tag us with a picture on Instagram if you're really good.
Fictional.
Photoshop.
Let's put it that way.
Photoshop Jason in with a fictional journalist and post it on our on tag Plate Stack Chat.
Or just give me one of those press trilbies.
I was going to say Dick Tracy, but he's not. He's a private eye.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, thanks so much for listening, guys. Do go and follow us on Instagram. Mine and Jason's are on the screen. I'm at La Roche Original, and Jason is at Jason CF Media. He's got a new YouTube page, Jason CF Media. Go follow, subscribe. Don't follow, subscribe, like his video. There will be more, I'm sure. I have my own YouTube page too, La Roche Original.
Yeah, I know. They just subscribed to Jason CF Media.
There you go. And yeah, do go and follow Tom at Chalking Fitness. And
which also, I believe, has its own YouTube page.
There you go. Got his own YouTube page, Instagrams, all that stuff's on the socials. I've been Sam LaRoche. He's been Jason Croxon. You've been amazing. Good night, everybody. Have a great day, whatever you do. Bye-bye now. Video clip.